Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to review the latest entry in the Jeepers Creepers film series. It is a reboot called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Oh boy. Now, Jeepers Creepers Reborn is a 2022 American horror film. It was directed by Timo Viraluso, I think I pronounced his name right, and written by Sean Michael Argo. Now, the film stars Sidney Craven, Iran Adams, Pete Brooks, Ocean Navarro, Jerome Benjamin. Forced to travel with her boyfriend, Lanes begin to experience premonitions associated with the urban myth, the Creeper. She believes that something supernatural has been summoned and that she is the center of it all. Oh, God, no, Lane! Now, when it comes to horror movies, the Jeepers Creepers series is one that gets talked about a lot. And I'm sure it's mainly due to the series creator Victor Salva when news broke when I believe Jeepers Creepers 2 was released, or probably when that ended and there was going to be a third one. I believe that's when the story broke. Now, I'm not going to go into any details. We all know what it is. And when the story was released, most horror fans, including myself, no longer wanted to support any of his films, including the Jeepers Creepers films, which were pretty successful. Now, as myself, I did enjoy the first two Jeepers Creepers film. I thought Jeepers Creepers was something original, something that we haven't seen. Justin Long and Gina Phillips starred into it. I thought the aspects of the Creeper was fantastic. I liked the little song that they played on it. I thought Jonathan Beck did a fantastic job. With the creature, I liked the design of the Creeper because it's something we haven't seen before and was something refreshing. Jeepers Creepers 2 was okay. It little built more upon the Creeper's legend. Some more fantastic acting in the film. Now, I never saw Jeepers Creepers 3 because at that time, I believe the story broke, and I didn't see it because I didn't want to support anything Victor Salva did. And now, here we are with Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Now, due to the story and some bad reviews of the third film, it would take about 5 years before a different movie studio, along with some filmmakers who have nothing to do with Victor Salva, we got a new and rebooted Jeepers Creepers film called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Now, in this film, we're introduced to Lane and her boyfriend Chase. They're headed out to the Horror Hound Festival in Louisiana. Now, while Chase is really into the festival and the cosplay and the urban myth surrounding the Creeper, Lane really isn't. Now, it's not before long before Lane starts getting those premonitions and disturbing visions about the Creeper. I don't know why they keep doing this, but for some reason they want to add this aspect on. And after winning a drawing to play in an escape room and an abandoned plantation, Chris Lane, along with an influencer and one of the producers of the festival, suddenly find themselves fighting for their lives as the Creeper attacks. And that's kind of basically what the film is about. Now it's time for me to go on a little rant here because after watching this film, I just stood to myself and says, Monty G, what in the hell did you just watch? Because this film is one of the most terribly made films I've ever seen. No, I'll say this as, something I always say. I know little or anything regarding how to make or any inner workings of how to film a movie. I'm not a film student, never went to film school. I'm just your average man who has a YouTube channel reviewing horror movies for all you horror fans such as myself and all my subscribers. And I don't know anything about filmmaking. However, after watching this film, I know for myself that I can probably do a much better job than Timo and the filmmakers did in this film. Now, if I understand correctly, from what I understand, this was filmed I believe, during the pandemic. I forget what year. So obviously there were probably some restrictions. So when we get to the film festival, we don't see a lot of people, but probably because they had to separate everyone. So I get that. I have no problem with that. Fortunately, some of the stuff that they do in this film simply doesn't make any sense. Not to me, anyway. The first problem that I have is the story. Sean, who wrote this particular story, really doesn't do a good job in explaining some of the stuff that he has. It's bad enough that when the film begins, we sort of get a carbon copy of what we saw in the first film. Dee Wallace, uh, uh, actress. She actually has a cameo in the beginning of the film, which is almost directly into contrast with what happened in the first film. It's just like instead of just seeing Justin Long and Gina Phillips, we have Dee Wallace and another male actor almost doing the exact same thing that they did in the first film. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're not getting a shot for shot remake, are we? I hope not. Another problem that I have with this film, I don't know where they were shooting it, but it's like they decided to do some green screen on here, and it just looks terrible. Uh, like I said before, I don't know any of the inner workings of how the film within the green screen, but you can just see some outlayers of the actresses behind the green screen. It's like that's terrible. I mean, I've seen some poor effects in other movies, but this is uncalled for. You know, if you are a producer of a film, you should at least know how to blend the green screen on with your actors so it doesn't look so noticeable. But it's just terrible. There's hardly any tension or suspense in this particular film. There's no character development. The acting is what you kind of expect, and I really don't blame the actors. I don't blame Sydney. She's the lead woman in this film. Really don't blame her. I don't know what her other film she's been in this particular film. But obviously, she doesn't have the range in order to bring the character up. But then again, she's saddled. And all the actors are kind of saddled with Sean's poorly written story right here. And again, I don't know what they were trying to do. There's nothing really new here. They don't try to bring anything different into the Cripper storyline. They rehash some of the stuff that we've seen before in the other Crippers, which again, it's okay, but I don't see anything new. I don't see anything different. It's just terribly made, and it's not even good. It's like they don't even do a good job. Another problem is that most of the kills happen off screen. There is one particular kill that we kind of see in that, but that's not good enough. There's very little gore in this particular film, which unfortunately, which we know that's one of the things we love about the Creepers. We do get some decent kills in the film. There's one aspect of the story where we don't get any explanation is the motivations of what's happening. There are some references to Satanism or some type of voodooism. I don't know what they were going, but we get no explanation. Sean doesn't do it any explanation. There's no explanation as to why Lane's getting the premonitions. But then again, we see that in the second film and in the third film. I heard that. I haven't seen it, but I do believe we get premonitions in the third film. Now, in the first film, we get the reason why this particular woman gets the premonition because that's what everyone says. She just sees a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't know why the other people in Lane here get these premonitions. It's like, why do they get it? And what's the purpose of them? And it seemed like Sean was just rehashing what he saw in the other movies, but there's no explanation why Lane is getting these premonitions. And I have nothing against Jerome Benjamin, who's playing the Crip. We don't have Jonathan Beck. I have nothing against them, but unfortunately, the Crippers' makeup effects are terrible. We don't get to actually see the creeper do what the creeper does. He's kind of limited. And again, I don't know what the budget is in this film. I haven't found it, but it looks like they really did not want to spend the type of money that you would need to spend in order to come up with a decent film. Now, like I said, I've seen bad horror films, you know, The Bye Bye Man, The Slender Man, The Apparition, Firestarter this year. I've seen some very, very terrible, I've seen some bad horror films, but there is a difference between a bad horror film and a terribly made film. And that's the problem with Jeepers Creepers Reborn. It is just a poorly made horror film. They could have actually done something with this film and it just would be a bad horror film. And I'm okay with that, but this looks like they didn't put any effort in there. Now, I, for one, I'm pretty sure that Timo and the rest of the filmmakers probably did not go about to make a bad horror film. I don't think anyone does. I think they do what they can with what the budget that they have and try to put together what they believe is a decent horror film. But it's just like I don't know if someone didn't do their job or someone didn't pay attention to when they were editing the film or looking at the scripts. It looks like, hey, let's go on ahead, let's make this movie and bang, let's get it out there because you know it's almost Halloween. We haven't had a creeper Jeepers film in almost 5 years. Maybe they didn't want to have the rights long enough, so they just pushed this out there. And it's like, I don't know what they were doing, but this is just a terribly made horror film. And like I said, I have nothing good to say about this film, and I feel kind of sad because I always try to pick up something good, even if the film is bad. I try to pick up something good, but there's really nothing good to say about this film. It's just poorly written, poorly directed, bad acting, and like I said, very bad production values. The ending is kind of very, very lackluster, and that pointless line that Lane says at the end of the film really doesn't do anything. There's no tension, there's no suspense, there's no character built up at all. If anyone actually does enjoy this film, hats off to you. I'm very proud of you. I'm glad you enjoy it, but I certainly did not enjoy this film at all. I believe this will probably be one of the worst horror films I've seen so far this year, and it will probably definitely be on my 5 bad worst horror films list later on this year. But still got some months. We still got at least we still got 4 months left, so anything is possible. So I'm going to give Jeepers Creepers 2 0, zip, none, nada, none of my 5 bloody gold coins. Not going to give it anything. It's just a lackluster effort. I don't know what Timo was thinking about. This was his first American-made film because he is a Finnish film director. I believe he did some type of a film called Iron Sky, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but I never saw this film before. But hopefully, if he gets another chance, he learns from his mistakes and do something a little bit much better than what he and his filmmakers did in this film. So there you have it. That's my video for the day, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share, and because that way it helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Because definitely trying to get some more views in here, and so I can monetize finally again. And again, if you did see Jeepers Creepers Reborn, please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about the film, especially if you did like it, because I would like to know what you thought about the film, what you enjoyed about it. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. I'm out.